efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utilities direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Chancellor Brewington.
All right, welcome in to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, you guys can join in via the Starter Haven text line, 402-464-5685. We do still got Royals baseball on the brick and mortar, but nonetheless, if you're listening, that means you found the streams or the Ticket app already. Let's bring him in on a Tuesday night. Chancellor Brewington, how's it going?
I'm good, my man. How you doing, Harrison?
Doing fantastic. A little bit sour that Houston wasn't able to pull off the win last night, as well as the Nuggets firing their head coach. There's a few things I'm sour about, but I can't complain too much. It was a little nicer, a little warmer today. That's about where I'm at.
Yeah, I feel you. It was a decent game. What did you feel about it? I thought it was a good game. I wouldn't say as like star power as we've seen in the past. I would have loved for Cooper Flagg to be in there, but yeah, I mean overall it was a decent game.
Yeah, I mean it was a good game. I'll say the first thing I'll say is what I told the morning Pearsonell. And this is not me trying to take a big jab at Nebraska basketball, but what I will say is like when you turned on that game right from the start, you saw a team in Houston and you saw a team in Florida that you knew if you ran a simulation 100 times, those teams would beat Nebraska 99 out of the 100. Like it's good that we should be happy and acknowledge Nebraska has been taking small steps as of late. Whether you think about how this season ended, they still got to 20 wins. That's a mark that Nebraska basketball rarely sees. We're taking small steps in that direction, but there is still a clear gap between being the best team in the country and where we're at.
Yeah, you should be proud of me, Harrison, man. I watched the Nebraska game. That was my first game of the season I watched.
The college basketball crown?
Yep.
But what'd you think of the fellas? First time watching them. They probably look like one of the best teams in the country.
I said, this looked like the 96 Bulls.
Bryce Williams is the form of Jordan. I will give you that one. The college version.
In all seriousness, no, they look good. You're right when you look at obviously Houston and Florida, and that would be the same for. This isn't just Nebraska basketball. It'd be the same for Nebraska football. Watching, watching the national champs, or even watching like a team like Georgia, then watching or Oregon, then watching Nebraska. Obviously, there's a big difference.
Well, are you sure about that though? Because you lose to Ohio State by 5, and they hoist the trophy.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, but that was one game, and then the next game you lose to UCLA. Pretty bad.
I think you're right. That was a bad game Ohio State played versus us. I thought they certainly played down.
One of the worst ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is the closest game they had all year was versus us, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, for real. I think. Yeah, that was one of the strangest. That was such a Nebraska thing to do, is that. Just like it was so similar to Ohio State 21 when C.J. Stroud threw 2 picks, one to Miles Farmer and JoJo Doman, I believe.
Yeah.
But you're just, you're in a game with, a top opponent, top team, top talent, some of the best players in the country, and they're playing their worst ball. You're playing good ball. No, I wouldn't say your best, but you're playing really good ball. But there's just one thing that's missing. And, in this Ohio State game, it was, I would say, the consistency on offense. And then that last drive with defense just need one stop and just couldn't get it done. But I say all this to say that I honestly think a polished Dylan Raiola goes in that game. Might win. You might win that game with the polished Dylan Raiola, because I remember you missed there was a slot fade you missed to Jamal Banks.
Yeah.
I believe it was overthrown. And then there was something else that happened that game, but there was a couple.
There was a missed spot on the Emmett Johnson first down run. That was the killer on the last drive.
That's what it was. And then I think there was a fumble. Wasn't there there might have been a fumble, or was that Indiana? I think that was Indiana. But there was definitely just some opportunities, of course. And that's what kind of, younger football teams make. And when I mean younger, I just mean like just haven't played together. It's so interesting. Like I love to hear your thoughts on this, but like the theory of like a young team revolves around how long the culture and the head coach has been there and been established, not as much as how old the players are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always big in the camp of like, you keep coaches around, you give them a chance to instill the foundation that they're trying to. Like like even with Sampson, I know Walden for Florida, and then going back to March Madness, Walden was only 39 years old. He's a little bit of an anomaly, but Sampson, I think what he'd get down there, Houston 2016, and it shows. Like, he's got full control over that program, and he knows the ins and outs of it. And you saw that with Duke. You see that even with Ohio State, as much as Ohio State fans like to call out Ryan Day, Ryan Day's a good coach. Like, he knows that program in and out, year in, year out. He reloads it with great talent. I will be curious to see, because, for Notre Dame this year, Marcus Freeman is kind of a new coach as well.
Right.
Some of it kind of gets washed out, just the fact that NIL is allowing players to do the same. So now there's like almost so much movement that, although it is an advantage to have a long-standing coach, it's getting a little bit washed away now that players are, not that it's wrong, are able to move more freely. So even if you got your culture and you got your organization, you're getting new kids in there year in, year out. Very rarely when you have a roster that's pretty much intact, that you got to constantly re-preach your culture. And I think that's the biggest challenge. So it is true, but I don't know how true it is anymore in today's game, if that makes sense.
No, that is a great point. The transfer portal mania is changing. It's changing things fast, and I honestly think with the way the first of all, the 125 effect is happening here soon. And I don't think, not a lot of media is really, I would say, covering it, because it's kind of something that's kind of like somber in a way. And it's really sad. But, what's happening, in the fall is these rosters are getting reduced, and these players now, most of the people know, but players, for people that don't know, the players, I would say I think the roster limit's like 85 or 90 or whatever it is. Nebraska's roster when I was there was like 130 or 140, but a big chunk of this roster is going to be cut, and they're going to have to find new places to play. And so during this time, they're, trying to get film, during the spring, because a lot of the guys that are getting cut don't have game film, have never had game film, and are going to be expected to, go in the portal and people pick them up. And I say all this to say that, like, I feel like cultures are going to shift a little bit, because it's like, the parent that has like 12 kids and like only a couple of them get the attention, right? But now you got like 6 kids, and like your attention goes, to specific people for their specific needs. And I think it's unfortunate. I don't like to see it, right? But if it's going to happen, I see it almost as if like you can almost refine cultures a little bit more, because some people in programs like, Nebraska's a little different, but most programs, the other half are kind of just there, right? They're not aspiring to go off into the NFL they're just kind of there. Maybe some are hardworking, maybe some aren't. But I think it's going to be I think it's going to be great for programs. Sad this is going to happen, but I think it's going to be great for programs to be able to focus just a little bit more their energy and attention. And I think cultures are going to be, I think it's just going to be easier to maintain a team. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly easier, and it makes sense with NIL as well. Like, you're going to want to contain this a little bit now that you have all these, like, I understand it's still a walk-on program. You weren't necessarily paying those guys, but it's just a lot to keep in track. And the only thing that sucks about it is what it's going to feel like to rip the Band-Aid off. Give it a few more years when everybody's used to the 105 roster. It'll be a lot better. But to your point, like, we're going to have, it's not just Nebraska's guys, right? It's every program out there who's over that 105 are going to hit that market. That's a pretty big market that's going to fill up after we get through all these cuts. So I think originally that first adjustment period is going to be really brutal for a lot of guys. There's going to be guys that have talent that just don't get looked at because there's so many other guys out there. But give it 4 years, maybe even less than that, 3 years. I think we'll all feel pretty good about the 105 roster limit. But I do worry a little bit about that Band-Aid ripping off first time.
Yeah, for sure. They need somebody would make a killing if they did like a swipe left, swipe right, almost like a Tinder match or transfer portal match.
I don't want to live in that society. I don't want to. I don't know where we're going, but that doesn't sound like the right direction.
I mean, just imagine schools could just go in there and swipe left on a player and swipe right. I mean, that would. I don't mean this in a vulgar way. I mean this in I don't know. There needs to. There's a hint of seriousness in here. That like there needs to be actual system that.
Well, there is a point to what you're saying, right? Because if there's a point to what you're saying. It's in a fun way we can use it, but like if you're looking for offensive linemen,
right.
Just the same way a girl might say no guys under 6 foot. If you're Matt Rule and you're looking for linemen, you're going to say we don't want anyone under this weight. So there's going to be measurables that you need that. It makes sense to have some sort of system that's a lot quicker to scrub through all the information. And especially today, yes, there's more film than ever. There's also a lot more bad film than ever. Like I've seen a lot of highlight tapes get made just for no shot of recruitment. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of film out there, and it takes a lot more time to find the guys worthwhile.
How about the highlight tapes that have 7 play or 6 plays, and it's a minute and 15 seconds?
You talking about my senior huddle highlight reel? That was
no. The huddles are fine. I'm talking about like the hype videos.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. I never had a NA huddle film to offer anybody, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
No, yeah, like like the Instagram videos. You go see like some good, the good college players, or people who have a bunch of highlights. Those will be whatever. And I guess this is just a joke. I'm not really knocking them, but it's hard because if you send that out, I mean, you can't see much of anything. I think I know this for sure. When I was leaving my first school, NAU, you couldn't get your film. And so I was recording everything off of my phone and sending it out to people. And so like I would record it off of my iPad, from my phone. And I would ask like people on the team to record videos of my one-on-ones, of my 7-on-7 catches, because they had access to it still. But that is one like super harsh thing that teams do. And I understand you don't want your film to be sent out to, rival teams or whatever, but it's really silly at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, football is literally all the same. Like verticals are verticals, curls are curls, posts are posts, and you mesh them all together and everyone has the same concepts. But I hope though that kind of stumbling block the people for the cutting down of the 105 don't have to run into, because that is a hectic and chaotic process trying to get film from your old school. It's nearly impossible if you don't have someone on the inside doing it for you.
Yeah, that's just what sucks. And half the time I feel like it's not even intentional. It just gets lost in the shuffle. Everybody else has got a million things going on, and it's, maybe lazy. You could use that word for it, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, as this officially goes through here. But on the news of Nebraska football, I do got to say, Dylan Raiola shows up everywhere. I mean, that guy does a great job. He was at the College Basketball Crown, as I'm sure you watched. He got many cameos while he was down there. Hell of a job recruiting for Nebraska. And you can say what you will about the TikToks and all this. He's a well-spoken guy. He never bashes anybody. The worst thing he ever does is have too much fun or wear a Chiefs jersey. Like, I don't want to hear too much negativity on him. He just seems like a good guy and doing a good job recruiting. Thoughts on just Dylan Raiola appearing everywhere so far?
Yeah, no, I see it as him taking like the responsibility of being, I see him as the face of Nebraska football. I don't know who else you would put in that position. I would say he is, and that's a responsibility. And so, I've seen him. He went to like all the high school basketball games and like a bunch of stuff. So I think it's awesome, and it's. In today's day and age, when someone's doing something great and in a pretty large position and, getting a lot of attention, you just naturally attract hate as well as the praise. So it's unfortunate to see people feel some type of way about it. 19-year-old kid who's trying to better himself, and in the process of bettering himself, he's actually supporting other people.
And he's doing better than just about all his haters, I might add.
Yeah.
Like everyone complaining probably doesn't have $1 million sitting in the account when they get home.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, but I think he's doing a great job. And, for most people, if they were in his shoes, at that age with, just status, financial pressure, all the different things, most people will crumble. And so you gotta, of course, tip your hat and respect what he's doing and what he's done, and hopefully what he's going to do. Because I think the Nebraska football season in 2025, 2026 is predicated on Dylan Raiola's success. So imagine you being in your second year of college and knowing that, feeling that, everyone around you knows that, your coaches know that, in a sense, your coach's job is almost dependent on your success. If you want to zoom out or zoom in, either way you look at it, there's tons of pressure, and maybe it's privilege, whatever you want to call it. But I definitely tip my hat off to him.
Yeah, and it's easy to like nitpick at those guys, but I couldn't even tell you what I'd be like at 19 if I had that much money and notoriety in my account. That's why I'm impressed. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have the cameras and microphones around you that much to not have any bad moments yet, knock on wood there, like that's a pretty good sign that you got a mature person at that position who's, everything we hear, the guy's willing to work. Dana Holgerson, and every time he talks about him, that's one of the biggest compliments he'll give Dylan Raiola is he knows a lot and he just wants to learn more. That he's just constantly in there, going through the plays, trying to ask questions, even from guys like Rocco Spindler, who comes in, what does it take to have a championship level program? And, to add to that, you said the ceiling on this team is Dylan Raiola. I'll zag on that a little bit. I will say, I think the expectation lies within the offensive line, and then the ceiling, if we're going to blow past the ceiling, then it does fall on Dylan Raiola's shoulders. But I don't think he has to have a crazy season, although I do expect him to have a much better season, certainly uptake in those categories. But I do think it's going to come down to the offensive line being dominant. And as long as the offensive line's good, that takes a ton of pressure off of Dylan Raiola. And then, yes, it's great if he's amazing, but we saw it with McCarthy when he's at Michigan, right? You don't have to be amazing to win games. You just need to be consistent. And the offensive line of Michigan is always consistent. And that's how they're able to, even last year, bully a team like Ohio State, bully a team like Alabama on their bowl game, despite not really having much quarterback play, is they got an offensive line that's going to push people over. Especially in the Big Ten and the way college football is going. You looked at all those teams in the college football playoffs. Every single one of those offensive lines was impressive. Even some of those teams that got those lower seeds, you look at Arizona State, they got the bye, through their conference, but that offensive line makes sense how Arizona State got there. Yes, Sam Levitt was having a great game, but the pocket was protecting him really well. So to me, what's more important, the offensive line or Dylan Raiola? Because I'm fully committed on the offensive line. It has to be the driving factor of that offense next year.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you can pick each one. I think the only part that gets tough is playing in the Big Ten. If you don't have a top 5 defense, it's going to fall on Raiola.
Yeah.
If that makes, because I don't know. I could see this defense being super, I would say dynamic and super versatile. I could see it happening. I could see them being a really, really fast and explosive defense who gets a lot of turnovers, kind of plays a little bit scrappy, a little bit smaller than most Big Ten defenses, but really gets after it, right? I could see that in them being a top 15 defense. But also, I could also see this defense, being a little undersized and that being utilized against them. And then, on the outsides, cornerback play, taking advantage of light box, light D-line, inexperienced D-line, taking advantage of that, can't set edges. So I could see some of that playing in. I think their strongest position is they have 2 good safeties coming back, and they have 4 linebackers who can go start at any school. I mean, most schools in the country, right? And so I think knowing that that's kind of your core, I think it's just going to go whatever way it's going to go. I really don't know. It's so hard to predict good defenses when they haven't played together yet. And there's a lot of new guys in here.
Well, especially that defensive line, right? Like that's the big circle I think most people have is that going to be able to hold when you play a game versus Iowa, when you have a game versus Wisconsin? Like, can that line hold against any sort of run game? Because that's when you're playing in the Big Ten, and if you have a defense that can stop the run, you're cooking with gas. You can scrub a lot of wins off Nebraska's belt, even just from the last few years, if you don't take that elite stopping the run defense. A game like Rutgers, where Nebraska scored 14 to win it, Rutgers had 7. That was after that first drive, we shut down the run, and that completely killed Rutgers' game. And there's a lot of games you can go back and point to. So, that is a big concern for me as we're talking about the defense here is, can we stop the run? Even if it's not to the same degree, it just can't be a major fall off is where I'm at with it.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be an emergence of somebody just because of opportunities. I think one thing we get lost in college football, and I've definitely experienced it firsthand, is that you say, this guy's not good because he hasn't played yet. But it's so strange that most players in college football are around the same level. Most players, right? You have your outliers, right? Guys who run 4.2s, 4.3s. But most guys are, if you're on scholarship, you're, on the 2 deep. Most guys are around the same, in the 2 deep, around the same skill level. You have your outliers, of course, right? But then there's this thing called opportunity. And so when guys get opportunity, they sometimes transform into new players because you don't really know what's inside of them. They haven't played since high school, and they've developed, and all of a sudden, they shine in front of the lights, and you have a star is born, literally. And so I think with the D-line, you kind of have that theme going on of you got Van Poppel, you got some, Davis, you got some other guys, brought in some transfers, but it's like, it's too early to just, for me to say yes or no, but it's also fair to, assess, that you don't have Ty Robinson and Nash, obviously. Right. And, but you never know. A guy like Elijah Judy's coming back and stuff like that. So I think opportunity and somebody's going to take it and run with it. And that's what I live to see. Yeah,
it's going to be exciting. And I will say that is the more fun part of when you have a defense you're unsure of is like, okay, let's sit back. I mean, it's a grab the popcorn moment. Like, who's the leader of this team going to be? Like, you're going to find some guys
like John Bullock.
Emerge. Yeah, like John. That's a perfect example. And then how much of a fan favorite did John Bullock become? Everyone loved that guy because that guy just laid people out and constantly put his body on the line. And you're going to see some guys this year that are going to have that opportunity to do it. Just be absolute dogs in there the same way that a guy like Bullock was. With that being said, we got to throw it to break in Brewington. We got to talk about the Western Conference in the NBA. It is insane. It is 46-32, 46-32, 46-32. The records are like all damn near identical. There's only a few games left. The Nuggets fired their head coach right before the playoffs. The Grizzlies did so with Jenkins on March 28th. I thought that was insane. But no, the Nuggets on April 8th fired their head coach right before the playoffs. So we have to talk about the NBA, in particular that Western Conference. The records are insane. The decisions to fire head coaches right before playoffs is also insane. We'll talk about all that next. What's Brewing? Chancellor Brewington. Don't go anywhere.
Here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread's Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. What's Brewing? Chancellor Brewington, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos as always. We got the host, Chancellor Brewington, on the Allo VIP line where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. I teased it on segment number 1 at the end of it anyways. I want to talk about some NBA here. First off, what the hell are the Denver Nuggets doing? Chancellor Brewington, that is my first question. What is going on?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, you're unhappy with the fourth in the West. They're sitting 47 wins, 32 losses. They're 17 and a half games behind OKC.
Oh, right, let me fill in the gaps real quick. I'm sorry. I'm just very passionate about this because this is just so devastating for the Nuggets to be in the 4th slotted seat. The Lakers are right above them at 48 and 30. Yes, they're not going to catch the Rockets at 52. And yes, they're not going to catch the Thunder at 64 wins. But the 5 seed is 46 and 32. The 6th seed is 46 and 32. The 7th seed is 46 and 32. The 8th seed is 46 and 32. All of these teams are right there. It's a sign of how loaded the West is, not that your coach needs to be canned.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, you look at the 10 seed Dallas, they would be 7-8. They would be a 7-8 seed in the East. I mean, and the Lakers with 48 wins would be sitting around 3-4 like there too. But it's a different league almost from East to West, and it's been like that. It's been like that for probably the last 10 years, I would say,
since I can be alive. Brewington, seriously.
You said what?
Since I've been alive, the East has never, outside of maybe you can find a year or maybe 2 years, but I would not be surprised if the Western Conference has had a better record for like the past 25 years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the only years I can think of were like early 2010s, like that era, like 12, 13, 14, when the kind of Lakers were going through it, Suns were going through it, Mavs were kind of on the downfall, Spurs were good during that time, but like Celtics were a good team, Bulls were a good team, the Heat was a good team. So I really don't know. I would have to look at the stats, but I don't know. I don't know what's up with.
The little bit of correction here. So conference versus conference record. Back in, they actually pulled it off. Winning 51% of those East versus West matchups.
Jeez. Just 51%.
Just barely, but they were the better of the two. And yeah, it's just interesting. You think it'd balance out, especially like if you're a star player and you want to win championships, you're probably going to go to the weaker side, but it just never seems to be that way. The West Coast always, you got the Lakers, the Warriors, just a lot more historically valued teams. And then over in the East, the historically valued teams like the Knicks just haven't been able to ever figure it out. And the Celtics just finally got back to the winning side of things. But that's really about it in the East that's been consistent. Like Philly, another big market team that just never breaks through. East is, at one point, I thought maybe the Hawks were going to be that team. They couldn't grab onto it. The Celtics, it's really up to the Celtics. How long do they want to dominate the East? Because to me, It seems like if they let it slip away right away and let the Cavaliers take it and beat them out this year, that's brutal for the Celtics because they spent years just getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm expecting they'll make it to the finals again this year. But if they don't, that's a bad omen to have the Cavs like year one rip you out of it and immediately put you back into place. Because again, the East has been open forever and it's just been begging for somebody to take the throne. Ever since LeBron left, no pun intended, the throne's been open.
Yeah, it almost seems like that common theme where you got a star-studded team. It's happened year after year. There's a star-studded team, and it's one of those teams that are like super, like top to bottom. I'm talking like they got 1 through 8, 1 through 8, 1 through 9 guys that come in and give good minutes, play a good brand of basketball. They make it to the finals, they win the finals, or whatever happens, right? They make it to the finals. And then the next year they don't make it there. Then next year, maybe they get bounced early in the playoffs, and all of a sudden the team gets, disassembled, and everyone's on different teams, and the core of the team gets lost, and they're not the same team. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Boston. Mainly talking about just their role players, not even the big names, but what makes Boston is the role players.
Yeah. Well, even to your point, that's what's wrong with the Nuggets this year is they're kind of missing some of those key role players. Like Bruce Brown was like a big one for him, and then it was Contavious Caldwell-Pope, and he was really good, and he's just the NBA Finals tradesman. He just always finds those teams that are in the prime for making a deep run. But like you can see the Nuggets they're hurting for it too. And Booth got fired as well, their GM, so maybe that's part of it. But yeah, it hurts. Like you can have all the stars in the world, aka the Phoenix Suns. If you do not have players alongside them that click and make it make sense, then you're just wasting a bunch of money. Yeah,
and that's a great point. It's so strange. You do that right before the playoffs. It's like you're setting your team up for failure. And if we were just talking about it, we did our list last week, and we both were kind of sitting around. Well, I said Lakers first, and I think you said
Nuggets were
my first. You said like Nuggets like second?
Bet first. Took the Nuggets right off the board, number one. That was my favorite to come out of the West, and now they're a distant favorite after that move.
So where do you? Because I think your next pick was Boston. Now are you favoring Boston between the two?
Yeah, I'm taking Boston.
And then coming out of the West, who do you have now? Does that change your opinion?
I got no clue. Zero idea. Like the West is by far the most impossible. This is the most impossible year we've had in a long time to try to pick the best team out of the West. I don't got a good feeling on it at all anymore.
Yeah. I think Golden State is going to surprise a lot of people.
See, but is that a zag? Because I hear that more and more, and I've also hopped on that wagon.
You said, is that a what?
A zag. You hear that terminology? Like the chalk take is a zig, and if you're going to zag, you're going to take the hot take. That's the zag.
Oh, okay. I would say that is a. I don't even know if that's hot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Warriors,
so...
it's not much of a zag anymore because Steph Curry's been playing out of his mind, and Jimmy Butler's doing Jimmy Butler things. I mean, he's always kind of been that dog.
Yeah, like a good Houston team this year, like a really solid Houston team. You got Jalen Green. He's 21 points. Their whole starting five is like pretty mid to high double digits, and that's what you want to see, right?
Yeah, and you got the ultimate center in Sengun. Sengun doesn't get a lot of limelight because his last name's hard to pronounce, and he's up in Houston. But Sengun's a hell of a player. Like he's kind of a little bit Sabonis-like, not nearly as good as a playmaker, but he's just got a lot of versatility in his game that makes him like if you're an opposing coach, like it's just annoying to deal with that type of matchup because he can play different ways depending on who's guarding him. And then you got the young guy Mon Thompson as well. They just got a really good young roster, and I think if they make a good run in the playoffs, this will be the first time in a long time I think people actually get to see how good the Rockets are. Because this year they really took off, but they've been building towards this for a while.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it's not crazy to say, but it is crazy to say a 7 seed Golden State it could be just as dangerous or more dangerous, potentially more dangerous, or potentially a team that you do not want to face more than the Houston Rockets at a 2 seed that are already slotted in the playoffs. So I just think it's going to be interesting, and I think even like a team in the East like New York, I see them similar to. Now, I wouldn't say Denver, but kind of to the Lakers, where you just don't want Brunson to get hot, you don't want Cat to get hot, you don't want them going to happen to play in home court at New York during the playoffs is not what you want to do. Like, you don't want to go to Boston and play there. Even Cleveland's a tough place to play. But it just home court advantage, of course, but also there's just a lot of stuff on this playoffs. Stars every year, but this year just seems a little different. And I think it's going to be really fun.
That it is. That much I know for sure. It is going to be a lot of fun. These are probably some of the more exciting playoffs we've had at our feet in a long time. And I mean, you asked me, pick a team out of the West. Like, who do you actually like most right now? Is it the Rockets? Is that where you're going with?
No. I don't like them. Who? I mean, to be honest, I would say Thunder. Thunder probably looks the best right now. I believe they just actually. I mean, the Lakers beat them the other night. I think they beat them.
You beat them today. Lakers beat the Thunder tonight.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what I was talking about. Or no, Thunder beat us.
Plus you a little bit.
120. But I think Thunder looks good. It's just I don't know how a 7-game series. That's how I'm thinking. Like, obviously it has to get there, but I would say Thunder, and I think I'm leaning towards Cleveland.
Okay,
and that's tough, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and like I said, it's hard to poke holes in anything you pick out of the West. The East, yeah, I can see Cleveland. I'm still going to go with Boston, as they've just got a ridiculously deep roster, and Cleveland's record, it's not deceiving. They are that good, but they never do load management. So they do a really good job making sure they have that number 1 record in the Eastern Conference. The only way I can see it might, I really don't know. Thunder took their lumps and bruises. It might be finally their year. Otherwise, I would not be surprised if Luka and LeBron pull something off. I mean, it is Luka, Doncic, and LeBron James. The Nuggets, the only chance now is if they get some sort of psychotic version of Jokic, who's just somehow has another level to his game, which I think is pretty much, it's borderline impossible at this point. So I'm probably done with the Nuggets. I'd be surprised if they make a deep run. With that being said, we'll throw it to our final break here. Don't go anywhere. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington? We got one more segment on the other side. We'll talk to him in a little bit.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion, for happier, healthier, furry friends.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utilities direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington? Got the host, as always, on the Allo VIP line where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. Chancellor Brewington, we talked a lot of NBA. We talked some college basketball crowd even, and Husker football. Floor is yours. Where do you want to go with a few minutes left on segment 3 here?
We haven't talked about this one yet, and I'm surprised we haven't, but the New York Yankees bats. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts are. This seems like a fabricated story, if I want to put the tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, I was watching, there was actually a comedian who was talking about it, and he was like, you don't hit, it was something like 7 home runs that game, and they scored 20 runs the first game you bring out the bats. Like, you got to ease your way into it. Like, you can't let that happen. But he made another funny joke. It was like, did Elon Musk make these bats? But that's never mind. But yeah, no, I think the bat situation is interesting. Obviously, if you widen the barrel, specifically where the ball usually makes contact with the bat, obviously that's going to juice up something, and it's going to make it a lot more easy to make contact with the ball. So, and I don't know, I mean, if you've ever swung a wood bat and actually like made contact and know what it feels like to get the sweet part of a wooden bat, if you were to make that just a little bit bigger, oh my gosh, I could only imagine what it feels like. Because you have to think, usually most bats are drop 3, meaning if the length is 34 inches or 33 inches, it's drop 3. So if it's a 34, the weight will be 31 ounces. And you have some bats, some guys swing a drop 2 or a drop 1 or whatever it is. But I mean, if you're swinging a 34 and the barrel size of that is almost like the college drop 3 metal bats, right? That you swing with, and they go million miles per hour, and you can hit those things. Give them to Aaron Judge, and he can probably hit a ball 600 feet with a metal bat. But part of it is obviously metal, but the other part is that the barrel's so big. So if you keep that same barrel size, put it in a wooden bat, and not only just barrel size, but put it in a specific area, man, I don't know physics that much, but it got to do something.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't like rules in place for the torpedo bat, and the Yankees aren't the first team to do this. Torpedo bats actually existed for, I can tell you when it existed, but it's not like new, but they have seemed to have fine-tuned it enough for it to be effective. But it's still not like a game breaker. Like you don't see Judge swinging the torpedo bat right now. because he doesn't need to. Certain players, I think it makes sense, and that's going to be up for each team to decide. Like the story, for the Yankees in particular, is they have a few guys on the roster that kept hitting the bat right below the sweet spot. So that's why they moved the weight down there. So the sweet spot was a little bit lower towards the grip of the bat, and then they're having a lot more success. So I'm going to.
Oh, wait. So are they customizing it per player?
Yes.
Oh,
so
my
where that
God.
sweet spot is for a few guys at the Yankees in particular, they moved it down. And they knew this was like over the course of the offseason, they were looking into this. And so, if you're a Judge and you're hitting in the sweet spot all the time, the hell, a torpedo bat's not going to do you any good. It's going to make you worse. He has no problem finding that sweet spot. So I think it's for players who have a knack for just hitting it right below where that sweet spot is. They're having success with that. I'm also at the point, let's give it a few weeks before I'm like, yeah, torpedo bats are definitely the cause, because we've also seen weeks like this without the torpedo bat where some team just starts booming home runs out of nowhere and no one's expecting it. And there's no unique thing at play. They're just hot for a few days there. We'll see if that happens. And now I will say, if we get to midseason and the teams with torpedo bat users are just knocking them out and they have like crazy lead on everybody else, then I'll be like, okay, either the league needs to make a rule change or these other teams need to catch up and figure out which one of those guys need torpedo bats on their roster. But yeah, I'm just not too far invested in it yet. I want to see some more weeks go by, and like if they stay hot, then I'll be more curious. Right now, I think it's just opening weeks. People really excited about it. It was new, it was unique, and there's a lot of home runs, and it's easy to connect to plot points with that. Not a whole lot of questioning. You just see them two happen at the same time, so you think they're correlated. Maybe they are, but I want to give it a little bit more time before I say it is.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. I think definitely gauging this year, see how this year goes, and the real controversy will be in the playoffs if someone gets up there and it's crunch time situation in October and someone hits one out with the customized barrel, and they do some scientific analysis and say that if it wasn't the barrel, then you wouldn't have hit it out. That will surely get the people going.
Yeah, as always, there's always some controversy in baseball. And this year it's torpedo bat kicking it off. Chancellor Brewington, final words as we wrap things up here.
Man, just stay blessed, be grateful, and yeah, I mean, this is the only life we have, man. So continue to be grateful and yeah.
Well said. And we will talk again on Thursday. No Brewington tomorrow, but we'll have a full slate of Ticket Weeknights for you, as always, on Wednesday night. Chancellor Brewington, appreciate the time as always. We will talk again on Wednesday, and that's going to wrap it up for Ticket Weeknights. Appreciate all you guys listening. Be sure to tune back in at 6 a.m. Early break. Bill Bush, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen. Great show as always. Can't miss it. They will talk to you then. As for Harrison Arns, this will be it for Ticket Weeknights. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.